Every manipulator begins with a mask. They rarely appear as villains. Instead, they emerge as charismatic, attentive, and deeply understanding. Their charm disarms skepticism. You feel seen, understood, even valued, and that's exactly what they want. This stage isn't about affection. It's about access. Psychologically, this charm triggers reciprocity bias, our instinct to trust and return kindness. But behind the manipulator's smile lies calculation. They study your reactions, your insecurities, your emotional triggers. Each compliment is a probe, each shared secret, a test of your boundaries. They're not just winning your trust, they're mapping your psyche. Once they've identified your emotional weak points, the mask begins to slip slowly, strategically. The manipulator understands that trust isn't taken, it's cultivated. And once planted, it grows roots too deep to easily pull out. Control doesn't always look like domination. Sometimes it looks like persuasion, obligation, or even love. Manipulators operate on psychological leverage, the ability to influence your choices without your awareness. Their control begins with subtle influence. A suggestion here, a guilt trip there. It's the invisible hand guiding your behavior, so gently that you don't notice it moving you. What makes manipulation so powerful is that it feeds on your willingness. You believe you're acting freely, but the manipulator's cues, emotional, verbal, or situational, shape your perception of what's right. They understand cognitive dissonance. When your feelings and actions conflict, you seek harmony, often by rationalizing their behavior. They exploit this tension until submission feels like peace. True control, after all, doesn't require force, just belief. Gaslighting is one of the manipulator's most destructive tools. It's not just lying, it's systematic distortion. The manipulator doesn't deny reality to deceive you. They do it to own your perception of it. They'll twist facts, deny events, and reinterpret your memories until your confidence collapses. You're overreacting. That never happened. You're imagining things. These phrases seem harmless, but they erode self-trust, the foundation of independent thought. Once you question your own reality, you begin to rely on theirs. It's psychological dependency, not physical restraint. In truth, gaslighting isn't about proving them right. It's about making you doubt yourself so completely that even abuse feels like misunderstanding. The cruel brilliance of gaslighting lies in its invisibility. It's control disguised as conversation, dominance masked as care. Psychologists describe 3 core traits that define manipulative personalities: the dark triad. Narcissism fuels the need for admiration and superiority. The manipulator believes they are special, entitled to loyalty, praise, and control. Machiavellianism gives them strategy, a cold, calculated intelligence that sees relationships as games of advantage. Psychopathy removes empathy, the moral restraint that prevents cruelty. Together, these traits create an individual who can harm without guilt, lie without hesitation, and charm without sincerity. They don't simply seek power, they crave the emotional reactions it brings. To them, control isn't just survival, it's validation. Understanding the dark triad is crucial because it reveals a truth. Manipulators aren't broken, they're engineered for control. Manipulators understand emotions better than most, not to share them, but to use them. They detect insecurity like a shark senses blood. If you crave validation, they'll feed you praise. If you fear abandonment, they'll threaten withdrawal. Their mastery lies in timing. Just when you think they've hurt you beyond return, they'll show affection, confusing cruelty with care. This cycle of reward and punishment is known as intermittent reinforcement, and it's psychologically addictive. Your brain begins associating pain with affection, chaos with connection. The manipulator doesn't have to trap you. Your emotions do it for them. This is the paradox of emotional control. The victim feels chosen even while being used. It's love turned into leverage. No manipulator thrives in daylight. Their power grows in isolation. Once they have emotional control, they begin to shrink your world. Friends become toxic. Family doesn't understand you. Gradually, your social circle fades until their voice becomes your only constant. Isolation isn't always physical. It can be emotional. They make you feel that no one else could understand your bond, your special connection. It's a psychological quarantine. Once alone, you lose external reference points. The manipulator becomes your moral compass, your emotional weather, your sense of reality. And when that happens, their control becomes absolute. It's not a cage you see, it's one you feel. And the scariest part, you might even defend it. Manipulators destroy to rebuild, but in their image. The cycle always follows the same rhythm: idealization, devaluation, and discard. First, they idealize you, showering affection and admiration. Then comes devaluation, criticism, gaslighting, emotional withdrawal. Finally, discard, rejection that leaves you desperate for the initial warmth. This cycle activates trauma bonding, where emotional highs and lows create addiction-like attachment. You chase the manipulator's approval the way an addict chases relief. They become the source of your pain and your cure. It's a self-sustaining loop, and that's the essence of control. Breaking free isn't about hate. It's about detoxing from the illusion that you ever needed them to feel whole. Despite their power, manipulators are profoundly empty inside. Control isn't a sign of strength. It's a symptom of void. Their need to dominate stems from a fragile ego built on external validation. Beneath the confidence lies insecurity, and beneath the charm, fear of insignificance. They manipulate because genuine connection terrifies them. Vulnerability threatens their illusion of superiority. This is the paradox. The manipulator craves control to avoid confronting their own helplessness. They use others as mirrors to reflect worth they cannot feel internally. Understanding this truth doesn't excuse their behavior, but it explains their obsession. The manipulator's mind is a battlefield where self-loathing wages war against the need to feel powerful. Escaping manipulation begins with awareness. The patterns are always there. Charm that feels too perfect, affection that turns conditional, apologies that shift blame. Learn to trust your discomfort. Manipulation often feels wrong before it looks wrong. Psychologists suggest anchoring yourself in objective reality. Journaling events, keeping external connections, and setting firm boundaries. Recognizing manipulation doesn't require confrontation. It requires clarity. The manipulator loses power the moment you stop playing the emotional game. Awareness turns confusion into strategy. Once you see their patterns, their power begins to crumble, not with revenge, but with recognition. Freedom from manipulation isn't about changing them. It's about reclaiming yourself. Rebuild the trust you once gave to the wrong person, this time within. Practice self-validation. Your worth doesn't depend on anyone's perception. Educate yourself about psychological tactics. The more you understand the mechanisms of control, the harder they become to use against you. Manipulators prey on those who doubt themselves. So your greatest defense is self-knowledge, the confidence to recognize influence and reject it. Remember the core truth. You can't control the manipulator's mind, but you can master your own. And once you do, their power fades into silence, because the controlled mind is theirs, not yours. Now that you've stepped inside the manipulator's mind, remember, awareness is your strongest defense. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to the Pulsora Psyche for more journeys into the hidden corners of the human mind. Knowledge is protection, and the mind is your battlefield.